Alright folks, welcome back. The boat is really nearly complete. We are going to be finishing up some hardware stuff. This time in the next video I'm going to be showing you the details of the stuffing tube. The boat's complete. We have to seal it. We have to paint it a little bit. This episode is going to be focusing on some hardware, some cowl work, getting magnets located, some radio box stuff, as well as the transom hardware. This is not one of my better videos in terms of, editing. So I hope you enjoy it. It's going to be pretty straightforward. You can buzz through it. You could skip it. But stay tuned, though, because I am committed to, running this. And I'm going to be documenting that on the channel as well, so make sure you subscribe. All right, so enjoy. All right, quick update. I am measuring the location for these stock magnets that came with the Blazer Backlash kit. I've got a 1/16 inch G10 piece on to glue the top to, and I'll tell you why. Originally I was going to put this right in the corner, snug this in, like this, right? But my bell crank for my radio is going to come right here, and I estimate it's going to be roughly that location. And so if I do that, this is going to interfere. So I'm moving, and I convinced myself that having the magnets in the middle versus on the corners is okay, right? And so I added the G10. I think originally I was going to go right direct to the cowl on this corner spot. I was going to have it like something like this, but the that changed my mind. That decision was made for me. So now it's like, okay, now you've got to find, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to find this location. I'm going to screw in, I'm going to secure these. I'm going to secure these to the ballast, the bulkhead wall, and then I'm going to put these on, and then I'm going to smush and weigh down the cowl so it's such that it compresses and glues onto this surface, right? And so how do you find your Z coordinate? Because you have the cowl is on this surface right here. And then you've got a 16th, which is just so happens to be the same thickness as this decking. So now you've got this resting right at this lip, right below the lip. What I found was I trusted the measurement, which is 1 3/8, I believe, down, which is this measurement to the center of this hole that my thumb is at, up to here plus a 16th. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So I've got that. Then I found the equal distance, the lateral distance. So I'm going to drill those two holes. Pop those in, and then I'm going to sandwich and glue these down. All right. All right. I want to give you a couple of features on the cowl that I included that I forgot to video earlier. This is my G10 tongue. This piece actually came with the kit. So I measured for the thickness of the wall on either side of the engine bay, and I notched that out so it fits nice and snug when it's inserted. And then on the back side, this is a view of those magnets that I was talking about. And so this is another piece of G10 that I purchased. I glued that on first, so that was secure. And then what I just described, I sandwiched after I installed the mounts to make these fit in the exact location. I goobered the G10 surface with G-Flex. I put these, well, I think I put these on, installed them on the mount, and then I installed the cowl. And in doing so, then if I can get it right, and I put it down and I put weight on it so it adhered. And I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but yeah, right there, you can see how they're secure. They're smushed in there, so it worked out pretty well. So I want to give you that overview of the cowl because I failed to earlier. All right, welcome back. We are working on the rear hardware. I've not done anything with the stuffing tube yet. I want to get the strut and the rudder in place. That way I have a point of reference when lining up the stuffing tube. I'm not doing any sort of fancy tilting. I'm really just looking at the center line of the transom, and taking into account the rudder, the hardware itself. And so what I've done, working with the stock Speedmaster hardware that came with the kit off of the Blazer website. This is 5/32. I found the center line of the transom, and I then found the edges on either side. What I did to find those edges, I just lined up and got a vertical position, struck the edges using the strut itself, and then I found the center line, the center gap of the two mounting pieces. So this is 20, it's 5/8, so it's 5/8. So I found the center line of the vertical center line, found the center line of this, and so that's where I'm lining this up. Then I'm taking a drill bit that's nearly, it's very close to the center line. I'm gonna mark a hole on each of these to find that position, and then I'm going to use my braid drill bit to drill each of those. For the rudder, I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to be positioning this again, center line vertically, and then off to the right as much as possible. So that's that. And let me think. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And that'll be it. All right, so I've marked the halfway point vertically in 2 locations on the rudder mount. I've marked, so this is one, and this is 1 and 22 30 seconds, so 11/16. So half of that is 27 30 seconds. So I marked the horizontal, or I guess the vertical midpoint on the transom. And so I've also set my angle based on the transom. So reset it. So now I mark the vertical, and you can find the center, the horizontal on this right there. And I think I'm going to go, when I drill these, I'm going to put one in, put a fastener in, and then do the others as you go, just to make sure, because the variability of my point, I want to make sure that this is exactly dead nuts horizontal. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the rudder. And there's not much real estate, so these are going to be, I think they're going to be touching. All right, so I've got 2 holes drilled for the strut hardware, and I've got, let's see, so I'm choosing to use T-nuts, blind nuts. I've had, I don't know, on running hardware, I've had problems where the nylon lock nut backs out or loosens. So a T-nut with a thread lock has been working well for me, so I'm going to do that. So I used the braided to get the center point. So I mounted this, holding it up, I marked everything, and then found the one I wanted to start with, drilled a hole. But then you got to go in to make room for the collar on the T-nut, which is a larger size. I don't have that size in front of me, but so I'm doing that, and then I'm going to be squeezing these on, but because of the lip here, I'm going to get a piece of wood stock to squeeze down, probably on the other side too, and that way I have something to squeeze onto while I bear down, and you can hear it go in. Let's see how we're doing there. Yeah, we're grabbing nice. So definitely want to put something here to protect your transom. And yeah. Oh, that's nice. All right, so keep doing this. I'll check back in a bit. All right, so I've got the two bottom ones tightened down. There's a little bit of variability due to the fastener size with respect to the hole of each one, so you can move it around to find your position. Again, for the purposes of just trying to get it as lined up as possible, I am just cranking it down a little bit, and that way when I go to make these next holes, you know, it's as close to the center line as possible. All right. Looks really good. All right, now I gotta back out these to make room for the collars. Take your collars. All right, so I'm cranking this down, and there's a little bit of variability. Again, due to the size, the diameter of the fasteners, and the hole clearance of the mounts, and so I'm just cranking each side, you know, little by little, and it's, you know, again, we went off the bottom, you know, so it's looking pretty good. You know, and I think from my understanding, you want the center line of the strut the same distance from the transom as your sponsons are. And so on this boat, it looks like it's 30, what's that, 30, 15 sixteenths, 30 seconds or 15 sixteenths. So that's, well, it's not there right now, but so for the rudder, the hardware is smaller for the rudder mount than the strut mount. So I went with an M4 with an M4 T-nut, and I'm going to go with an M3 with an M3 T-nut on the rudder mount. So again, just make sure you don't blast a hole with the wrong size. That'll be a different day. So I've got, you know, it's so tight back here that the outside edge is flush with this face, and then the inside edge of the mount is flush with the strut mount, so it doesn't give you a whole lot of room. I'm keeping everything level, so I'm going to mark this and repeat for what I just did for the strut, and let's go. All right, so I decided on this one to do a cross pattern. I thought that would be better, but in doing so, when I had squeezed this T-nut in first, and I squeezed it in unevenly, so it's a little cockeyed. So just a tip, if you're going to do that, start them so they bite on the backside of the transom first, and then get them, and then go in back and squeeze them. Just as a little tip. All right, I'm going to keep going. I'm almost done here. All right, so I am planning the carb shield. I trimmed off a little bit. Let me see if I can find the piece. Yeah, I trimmed off a little bit, about this much off the end. This essentially gets it to the halfway point around the carb. Actually, it wraps a few degrees around the back too. This is what I'm using I outlined, so the pencil mark, if you can see it, is the outside edge of the cowl. The cowl is about an 1/8 inch thick. So I've got it I would say at least an 1/8, maybe 3/16 in, vertically positioned, and then just kind of contoured using my weights and clamps to create the shape that I want. So this looks pretty good. Gonna draft this up, and then I'm gonna lay just an inside edge of the fiberglass, like a strip of fiberglass on the inside edge, maybe just to give it a little bit of rigidity. We're moving along. If I look at and reply to all comments. So if you see something, say something. The initial, I'll call it tacking of the carb shield occurred last night. It's in pretty good condition. I've now cut a piece of fiberglass to help reinforce it, and I'm not an expert at all in this field, nor any field, but I'm doing my best here, and we are going to mat this down. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to apologize because the snow is melted, and it seems like every project under the sun has fallen onto my lap. And so progress on the Backlash has come to not a screeching halt, but pretty darn close. And so I apologize. Yeah, and let's see. For example, we had a clogged pipe in the house. I had to repair that. We've got a deck project that we're refacing. So it's like, now that the snow is gone, all these projects are underway and taking on a lot of work. So it is what it is. Okay. In preparation for the Servo installation, I thought I had long enough 440 rods, but I didn't. And so I was a little bit short, so I had to order. There's lots of ways to do this. A clean way, this is the Zip Kit carbon tube kit. There's a lot of different ways that you can go about doing these, but I didn't really want to just mess around with everything. So this is kind of slick. So it comes with 2 threaded single threaded end 440 rods, and you've got your connector piece, and so there's a little set screw in here, and so you measure your carbon length, you and then you cut your 440 rod with a little bit of, you know, movement on the inside. You pop on these end pieces, set the set screw, it's tightened down on the rod, great, and then it comes with a little heat shrink just to clean off and have a nice little finish there. So that is what we're going to be doing for both steering and throttle. I can't remember if I showed this to you or not. I made just a little simple mounting feature. These are zip kits mounts. I am using Savox digital waterproof servos. These are coming off of another boat, actually. You can use whatever you want. I really hope this is going to be watertight. So hope is the key word, because I've had struggles with that in the past. Also, these are I bought a few. These are a new rubber boot that I think I got these. Oh, these are from Gizmo. So I'm just gonna bead some epoxy on the inside edge, pop those on. So that should be watertight. I'm also gonna be running a kill switch. So I've got a Hiltronics kill switch. I have this in the Super Sport, and this is going to be going in the Bonsai Epic as well. This is the only one. The Horizon Hobbies did not work for me, so I'm using this. So this has a few. This is going to be requiring a few other holes. Let's see. There's a light indicator. I'm going to have that popped out on the top of the radio box cover, along with, I think I'm going to install a switch as well. Geez, let me see. These switches are from, I got these off of Daniel Place on the dock. These are great switches. These are a nice toggle. These are nice toggle switches. You gotta lift and move. So nice quality there. So I'm gonna put that on this. Have the light indicator on this as well, with the kill line going through the bulkhead here, and shoring that up. And that's gonna be it. I don't know what I'm leaving this pretty much open unless I have to CG work on that. So I'm gonna have this pretty much closed at all times unless I have to drain water out. I'm still working on the stuffing tube. What I have for that, just a quick overview. Actually, I had this is an old double square-ended flex shaft that I chopped off one end, feeding that through with, I think this is what, 11/16? No, not 11/16. Yeah, 11/16. 5/8, 5/16, 11/16. And then installing that. After that, take everything apart, seal, go through that. So we're almost there. Cowling. Yeah, cowl. I think I talked about that before. Oh, actually, just one quick comment. I know I'm jumping around a little bit. I think the instructions say for 1/8 inch in. So I drew a line where the cowling was. The cowl is what, a 16th or an 1/8 inch? That's a 16th. So I went in a little bit. I don't think I really went in enough. I ended up having to sand just a little bit down. There was a little bit of interference, but it's nice and snug. And I'm just finishing up Oh, can I show that? Yeah. Here, let me move these. I'm pretty happy with how this is fitting in with everything. It's nice and tight. I think you want it tight. I don't think you want it really loose. Oh, this is hitting. Oh, hang on. My pulley is. See, I haven't done a fit up on this, so my pulley. I gotta like batten down the pulley. There we go. I'm not a battery start. There you go. So there you go. That's how it's gonna look. So I gotta just smooth out some edges, have this finalized. I gotta cut a carb hole, a vent hole right here, and then I'm gonna have some exit holes like tapering down just for some style. That's a quick overview on that. But see, yeah, you can see it sits in, it snaps right in. I don't know, I feel like it's pretty good. We'll see. Yeah, I gotta figure out how to do that. Put a little hook down there or something. All right. And I think that's about it. All right, so let me get to it. I'll be back.